Hello, everybody. Alrighty, here we go. We are looking for a collective message. We're asking what is important for the collective to know right now? What is important for the collective to know right now? What is the message that wants to come through for the collective right now? The message that wants to come through for the collective right now. Oof. Okay, so far we have the Ace of Cups, Four of Swords, Nine of Wands, and let's get at least one more. Seven of Swords. Okay. Yes, I really feel, that this is a time right now for really kind of, I want to say, indulging in self. Like I try to really recognize like the first words that pop in that want to be used, and that was indulging in self, right? But it's indulging in self-care. It's indulging in taking care of yourself, indulging in meeting your own needs, indulging in putting yourself first. And these are not selfish things at all, because we have to remember that really, in order for us to be able to help others, be able to support others, to be able to be emotionally present for others, is the only way that we can do that is if we are first like emotionally present for ourselves, right? If our own cup is full, if our own energy is full, right? Then we can have enough to share with others, right? So when our cup is overflowing, then we can give from the overflow. We can, best show up to support others when we're already overflowing with life force energy, with love. Yeah. And that's really what this Ace of Cups is about. It's filling up your cup, to the point where there's so much overflow. There's no sense of lack. There's no sense of want. It's just feeling really good in your own body, in your own mind, in your own spirit, in your own heart. Just really feeling like all of the abundance, that really is available to you. Like life force energy is ever present. It's always there. It's always all around us. It's it's never something that is depleted, but we ourselves create blocks within our energy systems, perhaps within our chakras or meridians, whatever. We put up blocks that don't allow that ever present, continuous flow of life force energy to move through us in a completely abundant way. Okay. And so, what does it mean to put up blocks? It means holding on to grief, holding on to feelings of guilt, holding on to anger, right? Unable to forgive. These are the things that really create these energetic blocks in our system, in our flow. And so that's why we say, like, forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for ourselves. It's for us to be able to, you know, let go of whatever types of, hard or angry or solid feelings we might be holding for someone else or some other situation. And if we can, the forgiveness can really allow us to let those things go and can open up all of those channels within our spirit, within our systems, right? To allow this this life force energy, which is love, to flow freely through us. Yeah. And so, and because it is so like continuous, like there's no end to this flow. When all of our channels are open, we can easily give, to others, and then be immediately replenished, right? Because it's this system of this flow. Okay. So that's really the message that wants to come through here, for us today, is just like really take a look at what is your level of energy? What is like, how full is your cup right now? And if it is not overflowing, then it's really a time to put some focus into that. Okay. It's a time to take a step back from the world and allow yourself the rest that you need. Allow yourself the indulgence that you need in order to clear those blocks from your energetic flow, your love flow. Allow yourself the time to uh, sink into these spaces of forgiveness. Sink into these spaces of, processing grief, and, you know, transmuting it back into love, right? Or, processing your anger, letting go, forgiving. So how do we do these things? It does require, a lot of work. It does require, um, it requires inward direction. I feel like the Four of Swords is very much, it's an inward directed energy, right? Like she's buried under the ground. She's really like isolated herself from, all of these outside things. And, she's also surrounded by these roses, and roses are a symbol of beauty. So, you can be in a little bit of a darker space, but really find a way to make it beautiful, and find the beauty in things. So gratitude is really a great way to get into that space of overflowing love or overflowing abundance. um, in fact, I feel like gratitude is like the number one thing you can do to shift, um, you know, darker energies into spaces of abundance. So putting focus on like, what are the beautiful things in your life that you have? Um, I'm sitting here and at, my beautiful desk. I have flowers in front of me. I have a beautiful window. I get to look outside and see the sky and the clouds. And I know it's freezing outside right now, and I'm sitting in here nice and warm, and it's wonderful, and I'm grateful for that. And that instantly puts me in a space of like, wow, I have all these blessings. Um, and sometimes sometimes if that gratitude is not easy to come on, then it is actually like doing something physical for yourself, running yourself a hot bath, putting some bubbles in it or something, or go and getting a massage, or you know if you have the money and you've been wanting this particular thing that you feel is going to bring some joy into your life, go do it. Stop making excuses. Do it. Um, so yeah, like really, that's the message. Especially because the Four of Swords here is coming in with the Nine of Wands, and these are both cards of healing, right? So if you really want to be in that space of overflowing abundance, overflowing love, overflowing life force energy, where your cup is full, it does require, this descent almost into a little bit of darkness to see where your energy is being blocked, and to unblock it, to unstuck it. Okay. And I feel like this this Seven of Swords is just really saying that sometimes you have to do it in very unconventional ways. Um, you know, uh, it's like thinking outside of the box, okay? It's it's doing things maybe differently than you would have before, because sometimes the way the brain works, right, is like we get stuck in these patterns of operation, right? We get these certain brain patterns, and it's automatic because we need these automatic systems, because we cannot devote too much energy into like breathing, right? We can't think about like breathing, or we can't think about moving our body. Okay, now I'm going to move my hand to the left or move my hand to the right, or there's too much energy involved with trying to process every little thing. And so that's why we have these patterns in our brain that are automatic. You don't have to think about it. They just go, right? But sometimes these patterns that we develop, you know, we need to change them up a little bit, because sometimes there gets to be a little bit of like a monotony in it, right? So maybe, for example, like taking baths, if that was like your go-to relaxation thing, maybe that might not do it for you, because it's become so much a part of the pattern, a little bit monotonous. So the Seven of Swords is really saying like, okay, think outside the box a little bit. What else could you do that you don't normally do, that you would enjoy? Yeah. And this kind of like, this changing it up a little bit almost makes it a little bit more potent, right? Like when something is novel and new, there's a little bit more excitement involved in it, as opposed to the thing that you do all the time over and over again. Okay. So just to kind of like recap and kind of put it all together, sum it up. This is a time, the central energies here are the Four of Swords and the Nine of Wands, which are both energies of healing. How do we heal? We examine, we go within, we get into a little bit of dark spaces, and we take a look at where we might be creating some blocks, or where there might be some blocks in the flow of our energy, and we work to unstuck those blocks. And how do we do that? We think of some novel or outside of the box things that we can do in order to unstuck that energy, in order to put us in a place of healing and of bringing in more love for ourselves, like really sinking into those spaces of self-love. Because like anger is oftentimes a reflection, right? If we feel triggered by somebody else that creates this anger that we hold on to, a lot of times it's actually an indication to look at you know what that wound is that is causing so much anger inside of yourself, because there's a wound there. Otherwise, you allow things to just kind of roll off of you, right? So do something different, something special, in order to really like get into this space of self-love, loving yourself, filling your cup up, and so that you can be in this state of overflow. Do not worry. Do not feel selfish. Do not worry about other people. They can take care of themselves. Right now is the time to really dedicate to yourself and your own needs, and being sure to fill your own cup, and allow that abundance and the overflow to come in. And once you're in that state of overflow, when you have more than enough to fill your own cup, then you also have more than enough to, support and give to others. Okay? Alrighty. That is the message. Yeah, let's do this. It's needed. It's really needed. Give yourself permission to do it, because also when you give yourself permission to heal and to find abundance in self-love, then you also actually are giving other people that same permission to do the same thing for themselves. And just imagine if we are all like filling our own cup to the point where we have so much overflow we can share it with others. If we're all doing that, wow. Like think about the good that can really come from that. Okay? Alrighty. Love you lots. Aloha.